Welcome to the Real Conversations podcast, the podcast dedicated to real stories from successful real estate professionals, with your host, Dan Edwards.
Good morning. Welcome to Real Conversations with Dan and Mark. That's not really the name of the show, but that's the introduction. We are here with Mark Hewitt, the expert, and I'm going to grill him. He's really excited about this. But we're just going to get to know you. So welcome to the podcast.
Great. Thanks for having me.
I want to kind of go back in the Wayback Machine. I know you're kind of getting up there in age, so memory may be failing you. But tell me about the home you grew up in.
Memory may be failing me. Let's kind of deal with that one. I don't think memory is failing me at all.
No, it's actually better than mine.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the roots where I started.
Yeah, no. Tell me about the house you grew up in.
I grew up in probably a 3,000 square foot house that had like 6 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and in California.
Oh, okay.
Marin County.
Marin County.
Yep, in San Marin.
San Marin.
Yep.
And what were you like in high school?
What was I like in high school? Well, I kind of pretty much had done all my education prior to high school. So by the time I got to high school, it was more of a picnic.
Were you like homeschooled?
No, but I was in a very structured junior high program and pretty much had more college level classes at an early age.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get to high school and you're just coasting?
High school was not only coasting or whatever, but I pretty much had kind of a run of the campus any way I wanted to, which was quite nice.
Okay. What'd you do for fun?
For fun, I did music, I did travel, and I did sports and things like that, and enjoyed golf.
Do you play an instrument?
I do. I did guitar, keyboards, drums, and was mainly vocals.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Baritone?
No, I mean a little tenor, a little baritone,
Oh.
mostly lead.
Okay.
Yep.
That's something we have in common. I was
There you go.
Except for I can't play instruments very well.
Okay, sounds good.
But mostly vocals.
Excellent.
Yeah. And tenor.
Oh, awesome. There you go.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
If we had never had this conversation, we wouldn't have known. Okay, so you're in high school. You're thinking about your future. What happened next after high school?
Well, I always knew that college was an important thing to do. And so when I graduated from high school, I packed all my stuff up and I moved up here to the Northwest to go to college.
Oh, okay.
So that I could focus primarily on education.
Now, did you have family up here already?
My family is from the Everett area, and the Hewitts are pretty well known up here.
Okay. So why was Washington where you're going to go to?
My dad always said that UW was his alma mater. And so I wanted to come up here. Plus we already had, some family property up here and things like that. So it would allow me to have a place to stay, have a place to go to school, and focus on education, because in California, I was pretty well plugged in quite a bit.
You're playing around.
What was going on? Not as much that as much as I just had every opportunity to do something other than study. And so I figured it would probably be better to come someplace where I could focus primarily on studying. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So did you have any jobs in high school?
Oh, pretty much every job. I mean, you name it, I must have done it. I mean, pretty much anywhere from tearing cars apart in an auto wrecking yard, all the way to cleaning office buildings, all the way to flipping burgers and construction and things like that. And and my dad was in the auto business, and his company morphed into now what's known as O'Reilly.
Auto parts?
Yes. And so I grew up doing that and was driving cars at a very early age. And had my company truck prior to even having a driver's license. And
what was it about work for you that came naturally? Like, I know there's a lot of kids in high school that are just like, they don't really. It sounds like you were doing a lot of stuff.
Maybe nowadays that's the case, but my first paying job was at A&W at 10 years old. I started a company at 11 years old. By 14, I was working for a construction company. I had my own truck.
Okay, but I want to know why.
Why? Because I had a drive to just do things and get things done, and it always motivated me just not to be sedentary and getting things done and doing things and exploring new options and opportunities and things like that at an early age.
Well, and I'm guessing that the income that came from that provided you with more freedom.
Totally. In fact, my two brothers got a couple of cars that were kind of family cars that were handed down, that kind of thing, and I wasn't thinking that was going to happen for me. So I bought my first car at 15. I bought a new car.
At 15, before you could even legally drive.
Yeah. Yeah. I drove down to the DMV and got my driver's license. And
what was it?
It was a Monte Carlo with swivel bucket seats.
Oh, swivel bucket seats.
Yeah, 1975.
Wait, so swivel. So you
Beautiful.
can get out?
You could swivel and get out of the car.
I was recanting a story with a friend of mine about how troublesome bench seats were, because if you were short and you got in and you moved the seat up and then the tall, that whole thing. So if you rode in the entire car on a bench seat, it could be a problem.
Sure.
So bucket seats were like this new thing in 64.
Like the new thing, yeah.
Swivel bucket seats. Yeah. Okay, so first car. So that work ethic, that philosophy, that carries you up to Seattle. You start as a freshman at the University of Washington.
No, I started as a freshman over at Bellevue Community College because I wasn't a resident and I didn't want to pay the triple inflated prices to go to UW, so I had to get residency first. Then I transferred to UW.
Okay, with an associate's degree, or just?
I was going for a business degree, and when I transferred after my freshman year, that was 1 year. Then I transferred as a sophomore to UW.
Gotcha. Okay, so then and that was what, in the 80s?
That was in the 80s. Yep. Graduated in 81, and then came up here. I took a year off, and then I started my college in 82.
In 82. Okay. So, are you working while you're in college?
Yes, I did slightly here and there, and pretty much anywhere from Big O Tires to a tire shop, that kind of thing.
So all around the car stuff.
All around cars, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And so you graduate UW.
I didn't graduate UW. I ended up transferring to Western. There was a mistake. Yep, there was a mistake made in one of the courses that the counselor had told me to take, and so I took exactly what they asked me to take, and they mentioned that they had made an error, and so I would have to wait another year to apply to the business school, and that was too long. So Western said, "Come on up," and I went there, and I enjoyed the heck out of it, and I loved the fact that it was a smaller school. You had the professor 5 days a week. And whereas at UW, you had the professor only 2 days a week, and you were in Kane Hall where you had like 500 students.
Yeah. So that smaller was, you saw the difference.
I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. My son went to University of Idaho, and I think we saw the same thing, is the advantage of just having a bit more hands-on education. Okay. So is real estate starting to creep into your mind here, or not even on your radar?
No, I actually, when I graduated with my business degree, I decided that one degree wouldn't be enough. So I went back to school to get my joint BS in math and computer science.
Wow.
At which time I got pulled away with a resort company, and ended up working with a resort company, but all along felt that I was going to be potentially a regional person for the automotive company that my dad had been a part of early on.
So you were seeing that regional director.
I was thinking, because I grew up in it, it was something that I knew really well. And I expected that would be the case. And then when PACCAR, who owned General Automotive and owned Al's Auto, when they merged, I was not given the opportunity to do that. Went to the resort business, started doing that, found sales, and then...
Where was this? What resort business?
Up in Birch Bay, NACO West.
So like selling
basically camp club timeshare memberships.
Okay.
And I got very good at it in a very quick period of time, and so then all of a sudden, sales seemed to kick in. And so when I had looked at my education, after I left the resort business, I went into the construction industry for 2 years. And worked alongside builders in Lake Sammamish and Street of Dreams, homes anywhere from $500,000 on up to several $1 million. And so then when it was time to go into real estate, I felt it was a great mix because I had the business background, I had the math, the computer science, the construction, the sales, and I thought this really works really well for real estate because this is a tangible thing, whereas some of these timeshare type memberships are more based on use. If you don't use them, then you get less benefit than the people that are using them for what you pay for 'em.
Versus the ownership thing.
And
right?
the ownership of homes was just, to me, was a no-brainer.
All right. So you've now taken that business acumen, you take the sales experience that you had, and then what was the real, I mean, was it just, hey, this is the inevitable trajectory, or was there something bigger, some bigger why that said, I want to do real estate instead of all these things?
It just clicked. It just really, I mean, for all my background, it seemed like that was the best fit. Also, I had a potential fall that could have incapacitated me in one of the Montrose Street of Dreams in Issaquah.
Okay, so this is when you're working in construction.
Yes, and
tell the story.
so when that happened, I was on a wall that was very high up. I had the flu that day, so I had lost some of the functionality of strength in my fingers and things, and I was oftentimes like able to climb up walls with my hands and stuff like that. And in this case, I misjudged a beam, and I landed on the flat end of the beam as opposed to the top part of the beam. So I was about to slip, and I was so many feet up off the ground, and there were some beams below me, and it was one of those things where you had milliseconds to decide what you were going to do. And I pushed off the wall. I landed facing the other direction, square on this beam, and then decided I wasn't going to do that a second time because it may not come out so bad or so good. Yeah, may not turn out so good.
So you were a couple of stories up.
I was, yes. Yeah, I was up there. And so then at that point, I said that they can lay out the house with the guys for the rest of the time, and that I was going to pretty much exit the business, and I would make a phone call that night and explain what happened. But at the time, I wasn't willing to talk about it because it was that tragic.
You saw your life flash.
Pretty much, yeah. I thought I was going to be incapacitated to a high degree, but fortunate for me, I landed in the exact way that one would have never thought I could have, and walked away from it.
Yeah. So was that the point where you realized I'm going to get into real estate, or it was just, I'm not doing this anymore?
Well, it pretty much at that point that I decided that I had already taken the classes for real estate.
Okay.
And I had a license on ICE.
Okay.
And so then at that point I thought, okay, this is when I'm going to go ahead and activate it.
Now I'm going to sell these, not build them.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And
so,
maybe still occasionally get involved in the construction side of things, but not to the degree where I'd put myself in a position that at risk.
Where you could die.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What year was this?
This was 1991.
1991. That's the year I graduated from high school.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's a good year. 90s were a great decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 1991, instant success in real estate?
Pretty much a little bit. I mean, it certainly takes a bit to kind of get, momentum going. Yet I interviewed with one company. I negotiated a salary position with the company because they believed in me. And within 9 months, 7 months, I was the top sales associate for the entire company for the entire year.
In real estate. And what was the pressure of the salary? What was it that drove? I mean, obviously, talking about your success in the past, there's a pattern, right? You just get after it. But what was it that in those 9 months that propelled you to? And can you quantify what was success? What did it look like? How many units did you sell,
continual focus and drive. I had to make it work. And as much as it took time, I put in every bit of effort that was required to make it work. So chances were pretty good that it would be hard to fail. And that's kind of something that we get to speak to agents nowadays about. And that is that if they put in the time and the effort, that they can reap the results and the reward. If they don't, then, they get what they put into it.
So when you look at that, one of the things that I see agents challenged with is putting in time, but not putting in time doing the right things.
That could be true too.
So what were the right things that you were doing?
Just pure focus. And it was, first of all, getting inventory, because like a store, if you have nothing on the shelf, there isn't anything for anybody to buy. So I got after listings as quickly as possible. Right away. As fast as I possibly could.
I think that's a key, because I can look at lots of agents out there, and they've got a huge book of buyer business, but you went right after inventory.
Totally. Yeah.
How does a new agent go after inventory?
You get on the phone and you start prospecting, whether it be expireds, for sale by owners, absentee owners,
and that's
whatever
what you
it is. Pretty much, yes.
Were you knocking on their doors? Were you
Bulldog. I did no door knocking. It was all phone.
all on the phone?
Yep.
So opening up opportunities, what did that look like with an expired for you? Was it just I mean, because you're brand new at this, but you've been doing sales. How do you get that aggressive?
Just get in front of them. If you can get in front of
Whatever
people
it is.
and then you have the desire to win,
Mhm.
then you can be successful at it.
So you weren't even really thinking, well, I'm not good at this.
In fact, I missed the class that actually would teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
And they didn't have it for another month. And they said, well, then you can get signed up for it in the next month and things. And I thought, I don't have a month to sit stagnant. I need to start now.
Yeah.
And so I just got after it.
Wow. So if you were talking to a new agent right now, ooh, we lost the video. I gotta pause that. Hold on 1 second. This thing does this from time to time. It's not supposed to, but we can cut this out, so it's okay. Let's see if that comes back on. No, there it is.
Are you recording?
We are. Okay, let's see. So, you just said,
If I had advice for a new agent,
okay. All right. So if you had advice for a new agent and the classes aren't coming up, how would you convince them? What would it look like for them to get out there and get after it?
they just need to plug in at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
They need to grab every kind of reading resource they can that can tell a new agent how to run a business, how to do that. Keller Williams offers courses like Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
We also offer a class called Bold, Business Objective Life by Design. We have education here at the Keller Williams Realty Bothell Market Center. And they can look at those. They can ask, because we're an open book company. They can get advice from other agents and people in the business already. And by plugging in at a high level and listening and learning and being learning based, they could learn all the skills they need to succeed.
Well, and I hear that, but you just did it. And so you failed a lot of times.
You have to fail forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learning. If you're not failing, you're not learning.
You're not learning. And so you go in your first year, top salesperson. How does it continue then? Right? Because now you've done it once. I'm talking to experienced agents that will, they're going to start to face burnout because they're hitting that. So how do you avoid burnout?
Well, burnout was one of those things I hadn't even seen yet until a couple of occasions where you actually run into it.
Okay.
Because that drive, if you keep that drive going
Yeah.
too much, you don't reward yourself, you don't take a break, you don't take care of yourself, then yes, you can lead to the burnout. One of the neat things about one of the offices, when I started, they had a corporate office because they started merging and buying other offices and things like that. And I decided if I wanted to be close to marketing and everything that was going on, I wanted to move to the corporate office. And so when I moved to the corporate office, we had a production board. And so every day when I'd come and I'd look at the production board, I'd see who was hitting it. And so when I saw who was hitting it, then I would make sure that I had to hit it harder. And so then they would hit it and I would hit it. And then sometimes it would just basically be going on appointments and writing it on the production board before it was even production.
So there was that competition.
Totally.
That drives you.
Totally did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Totally did.
And it sounds like that kind of competitive nature has carried you all this way. Now, when did you come across Keller Williams?
Keller Williams, I actually was offered the opportunity to open the first office in Washington State many years ago when they were first franchising. And I passed on it because I had not even heard their name before. And I said, it's a fancy little logo. And I said, that looks great. But I said, who's heard of them?
Right.
And so I opted out of it. But that would have been at an early stage, and it would have been an excellent entry point for the company because it just, exponentially grew after that.
And so that was like in the late 90s?
That would be, let's see, 98. Yeah, it would probably be right in there. Maybe,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
So then when did the opportunity for this office?
Well, then in the correction that we just went through in 2006 and 7, I was actually looking at opening an office myself with a couple investment partners.
You were part of another company.
I was part of another company at that point, and then I looked at the investment opportunity. Then the market started to correct, And then during that time, the conversations that we had with the investor group and things like that didn't pan out.
Okay.
So then I stayed where I was. And then years later, when this office was opening here at Keller Williams Bothell, was opening up, they asked, they were looking for a designated broker. And so they sought me out, interviewed me, and I was like, well, I guess third time's a charm. So I raised my hand, I said yes, and came on as the designated broker.
Okay. And that was when?
That would have been like 17 years ago, so probably 08.
08?
Yeah.
Okay. 08. So then to kind of wrap this up, you're now part of this office, productive, the operating principal. What advice do you have for an experienced agent that maybe, I don't know, they're looking at this market as being a challenge? What advice do you have for them?
In every challenge, there's opportunity. And so there's total opportunity in whatever market, because you can make it what you make it. And it's also mindset. If you look at it that way, then it could keep you, impede your progress. Whereas if you keep a positive mindset and look at the opportunities in any market, you can thrive. Keller Williams has so many tools and so many bright thinkers. I was on a call with a gentleman that's very high up in the company earlier this morning. And if you plug in to all those conversations that are taking place, your business can grow exponentially.
Yeah. And I feel like it is the mindset that's the big difference. You got real estate classes at different brokerages. You've got, education, you've got camaraderie, you got culture. But when you start to surround yourself with people that think differently, and I like to define, Keller a couple of years ago came out where entrepreneurs thrive, and I think that's the major difference. Is there's this concept of going from E to P, which is entrepreneurial, which I find a lot of people get into real estate because they are entrepreneurial, because they want to set their schedule. They want to have the creativity to create the business that they want, and they care about people, and they care about the estate, having a real estate. So when you look back at your arc, there's no doubt in my mind you have that entrepreneurial spirit. But where does the P show up? And as a whole, where does that purposefulness? How is that a differentiator for you?
Well, surround yourself with people that are places that you want to go to. Just like they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you can rise to the level of others that have come before you and do what they did, then it's whatever, you're your own limit.
Is there somebody in your life that you can point to, or
sure,
in different phases?
Yeah. Gary Keller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough when I started to expand to other states, that I was part of a group called Expansion, and there were masterminds with Gary in Austin, and they took place sometimes 4 times a year. And so I was able to learn from the best in the industry, because Gary actually is probably the first person in real estate that taught agents how to run a business like a business, where before we were just real estate agents, now we're business owners.
So so you expanded to other states.
I expanded to Texas with the thought of training a person there to go to LA, and then I had a director of ops in Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, and then that actually ended up being that particular business is now separate and runs on its own, and then I'm up here in Washington, on my own at the moment. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. But yeah, it's how you plug in, how you show up, and who you surround yourself with is how you're going to get there. And being a part of an office as stellar as Keller Williams Bothell, I think is just probably the first blessing you'll get, and then the rest of them will follow.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Coming on.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.